A kingdom without a king. A realm left in ruin. But a single hope remains.
We open this list with an action RPG that's as challenging as the Souls games. Narrated by the voice of Geralt of Rivia, Tales of Iron is a massive adventure all told in gorgeous 2D. Don't let its cute characters fool you. This deceivingly beautiful game is home to tough enemies that'll beat you to a pulp. Master its combat by knowing when to roll and parry. In typical Souls-like fashion, explore this once great kingdom and reclaim the throne.
Welcome, Arisen. We pawns have long awaited your arrival.
Dragon's Dogma 2 is an ambitious follow-up to Capcom's medieval ARPG. You and your pawn's journey across Vermund and Batal are met with beauty and danger. The sequel maintains the soul of its medieval fantasy world and enhances the visuals tenfold. You don't have to play the first game, as this takes place in a parallel world. You only need to believe in your Arisen and your pawns as you face towering giants and epic dragons. Despite numerous setbacks since its launch, Diablo IV still holds itself well. Blizzard's latest venture into the realms of hell was met with critical acclaim. It was praised for its impressive story and fantastic visuals. The only downside was its weak endgame. Although most problems have been fixed, there's still a lot to do before it can compete with other titles like Path of Exile and Last Epic. Let's hope Blizzard continues to support this until their upcoming expansion. This is the latest addition to the Fate series, and you don't have to be a fan to enjoy it. It has its own cast of characters that's centuries apart from the mainline anime. Set during the Edo period of Japan, play as one of the 7 chosen pairs of masters and servants in the epic Holy Grail War. Combat lets you control servants in battles and use your bond with them to survive. Mix and match between these playable characters to strategically control the battlefield. Vanisher is a story about 2 ghost hunters. With a character torn between humanity and a departed partner, it explores themes of morality and grief. The combat is a far cry from Dontnod's previous games. Vanisher's fast-paced combat complements well with its slow burn story. It was a game that came out in the middle of major titles like Final Fantasy VII ReBirth. Despite the bad timing, it proved to be a surprise hit, praised for its characters and complex choices that define its ending. It received a playscore of 8.5.
Death to the dead.
Zack Fair's origin story was a gut punch for us back in 2007. Now, more players can feel the shared heartache with Final Fantasy VII's iconic hero. This is a fantastic remaster of one of PlayStation Portable's greatest hits. Shinra's best soldier looks even better with Reunion's revamped visuals. Not only that, its combat is improved to match 7 Remake's fast-paced style. His legacy to Cloud and friends still resonates today. Skyrim paved the way for ambitious medieval RPGs. It was the kind of game that felt so open-ended there was no wrong or right way to play it. You can just goof around and shout at NPCs or slay a dragon. Although the Anniversary Edition is the best way to play the game, it was met with lukewarm critic reviews. Most complaints are due to the obvious cash grab of its redundant re-releases. The good news is that this version comes with all DLCs and mod support. Any ARPG list would not be complete without Warframe. The free live service action RPG is still alive to this day, and it's better than ever. The Tenno keeps expanding to the ends of the universe with seasonal updates and expansions. The PlayStation version of Warframe is the most reviewed game in this list. It has more than 600,000 users praising its combat while criticizing its endless grind. I wouldn't say it's for everyone. Warframe is a game built for players who enjoy repeatable activities and watching numbers go up.
Come forth, my monstroms!
Adol the Red embarks on a whole new journey in Monstrum Nox. This time he's bringing his heroic deeds to the west. Adol, cursed with the role of exorcising demons, is joined by 5 new characters, each bringing their own skills to combat magical threats. It's been some time since fans have been begging for localization, and it didn't disappoint. The latest Grand Blue Fantasy game takes the franchise to a whole new level. Relink is a massive and visually stunning RPG, perfect for new and longtime fans. Players explore a grand open world with a freedom that exceeds its previous mobile entries. It has over 40 hours of playtime and no gacha mechanics, just pure, unadulterated action RPG. You can opt for single player or grab a friend along in its multiplayer. If the RPG grind gets too much, there's nothing wrong with asking for a little help from friends and the community.
So, you know those pipes that make strange sounds? Don't ever go near them at night.
Genshin Impact's presence here may cause some of you to roll your eyes. It's a gacha game, yes, but it's an action RPG at its core. Finding god poles and building the perfect character are what makes MiHoYo's game great, most of the time. Sure, it does lure you to take out your wallet and go the easy way, but most of the content can be earned by simply playing. Who knows, you might get the best poles without spending a dime.
The path we're on is terribly dangerous.
Hogwarts Legacy is a dream come true for longtime Harry Potter fans. It was the game that finally let them roleplay as a Hogwarts student. Attending classes, petting fantastic beasts, and brewing potions are common activities in this AAA Harry Potter game. The open world gave players a magical trip across the wizarding world. Flying around Hogsmeade or exploring the Forbidden Forest is a fantastic experience only possible in Hogwarts Legacy. The only downside is it was a little lacking in content. No DLCs on the way, it feels like a one-and-done journey.
I'm afraid you're on your own.
Lies of P stands among the great Souls-like titles in recent memory. Developer NeoWiz masterfully blended FromSoft's style with their own twisted creativity. The dark fairy tale setting is where Lies of P shines. Here, Pinocchio is not the same long-nosed boy we knew. Instead, we get a robotic puppet with a trick arm. Like any Souls game, there's plenty of challenging bosses to defeat, each more difficult than the last. It still has the same themes of humanity as the original story, but its oppressive setting makes everything bleak. A DLC is slated to come out this year, promising more bosses and story content. Monster Hunter Rise is the perfect game to begin your monster hunting adventures. It's the series' most accessible game to date. There's still a steep learning curve to master, but it's less obtuse than the mainline world. The addition of the Wirebug provides more free-flowing gameplay against hunting the series' iconic monsters. The game is currently free for PS Plus Extra subscribers. To get the best experience, you'll need the Sunbreak expansion. It adds a whole new roster of monsters to fight and weapons to craft.
Let's press on, without any fear!
Before Monstrum knocks, there was Adol and Dana. His perpetual quest to save the world from doom now involves this mysterious blue-haired girl. Together, they go on a heroic quest where good old JRPG tropes combine. It features an intriguing dual protagonist story and a lush, expansive world to explore. The Neo Collection is the definitive way to play all of Team Ninja's Neo games. It's ideal for players who want to experience the dark fantasy version of Japan for the first time. Combat is an exhilarating blend of Souls-like and hack and slash. Changing stances and leveling up are essential to conquering its impressive bosses. This dual pack contains both Neo titles for the price of one. However, if you played Neo 1, you could always get Neo 2 Remastered, the complete collection, as a standalone purchase.
Chance working together.
The latest Tales game opens up a whole new era for the series. Arise's AAA offerings transform the once niche series into a mainstream hit. The game's added focus on action brings a new layer of style to its gameplay. It was praised by fans for its improvements in real-time combat. Using character abilities on the fly makes encounters feel seamless and engaging throughout its 40+ hours of content.
We don't need your salvation. We'll save ourselves, and we'll do it on our own terms. Come to me, Ifrit!
The latest mainline Final Fantasy title proved that the series continues to evolve after each entry. 16 has more action than RPGs, and that's not a bad thing. Clive's combat prowess could rival characters like Dante from Devil May Cry. The gameplay is so fast-paced, and the game has epic boss fights to pair it with. These cinematic battles were the talk of the town when it first launched. It pushed the PlayStation 5's hardware, sometimes a little too much. The game's 2 expansions flesh out its world and characters, providing a bittersweet conclusion to Clive and Jill's story. Speaking of Final Fantasy, this remake of Cloud's journey takes his adventures to a whole new perspective. Remake reinvented the original by fleshing out its characters and world building. Relive the iconic Disc 1 chapter of the 1997 classic with improved visuals, real-time combat, and memorable music. Intergrade just made the game run better on the PlayStation 5. It also includes Yuffie's espionage days in Midgar. It's Final Fantasy VII perfected, and you'll have 2 more games to play after it.
They're gonna do what?
Aloy returns in the second chapter to PlayStation's Horizon series. Forbidden West is Sony's excuse to flex their proprietary PlayStation 5 hardware. It's one of the most visually impressive games on the console, and it runs without performance issues. The open world of the West Coast is teeming with mechanical threats. Aloy's arsenal of powerful weapons turns her into a one-man army. Level up her tools to breeze through the gorgeous areas. It's a photo mode heaven, and Aloy's journey isn't even over yet. The Burning Shores DLC takes her to lava-soaked California. From Software's success wouldn't be possible without their first ever Souls game. Demon's Souls was a pivotal moment in action RPGs. It was the blueprint for Hidetaka Miyazaki's future projects. This remaster transforms the 2009 classic into a modern masterpiece. The visuals are a huge leap from its PlayStation 3 days. It's all thanks to Bluepoint's mastery in polishing decade-old titles for new-gen eyes. Purists shouldn't worry about big changes. Everything is the same. It just looks insanely better. You don't have to worry about dropping to 20 frames per second from that one boss fight.
It can't be.
7 ReBirth was the most anticipated second chapter of the 7 Remake trilogy. The gang's fight against Sephiroth and Shinra takes them outside the lands of Midgar. This covered most of the original Disc 2. Longtime fans of the series will know how it ends. ReBirth discarded Remake's linear design for an open-world playground. This pacing gives players enough time to flesh out its cast of characters. Even side quests are essential to getting to know our favorite 7 characters, making it a perfect excuse to roam the open fields and grind levels. Supergiant's godlike roguelike was their lightning in a bottle. Hades took the gaming community by storm with its energetic gameplay and well-written cast of characters. Zagreus' trip into the Lord of the Underworld's realm is met with ferocious foes to slay. Thankfully, our aunts and uncles from the Greek pantheon are ready to lend their helping hand. The many synergies of their boons offer limitless potential for OP builds in its never-ending loop. Once you've conquered the highest heat levels, you might be ready for Melano and Hades too.
Death to Kronos.
Oh, Elden Ring. From Software's multi-award winning RPG was a gaming phenomenon. The lands between put almost every gamer in a chokehold with its challenging difficulty 2 years ago. Despite the grueling Souls-like formula, the game has surpassed 23 million copies sold. That means millions of Tarnished have become Elden Lords since its release. There's just so much fun to have with the Erdtree's realm. You can either be a spellcasting mage or a dual-wielding warrior. Each player will have their own way of turning their hero into a badass. With Shadow of the Erdtree's release, there are plenty more challenges in the realm of shadows, but we won't spoil that for you. You'll have to experience it yourself.
You must find her, Geralt. Before the Wild Hunt does.
Geralt of Rivia takes the crown for the best PlayStation 5 action RPG. The Wild Hunt was the epic conclusion to the White Wolf story. CD Projekt Red took the opportunity to fully flesh out Sapkowski's high fantasy series. It invited new fans to the series, all thanks to its cast of beloved characters and branching storylines. This silver-haired monster hunter's journey wouldn't be complete without the game's 2 massive expansions, Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine. The complete edition has access to both DLCs, which introduces players to whole new areas, characters, and more Gwen.